Okay, we're back again, guys. See, I told you I'd be right back with another video. I wanted to leave that one separate, with Brittany and Steven. I didn't want to lump everything on one. I wanted to have that one separate so that everybody understood how important that was to me. We just absolutely love that we are a family that supports growth in all matters. But there's something I want to talk about. We're March 1st, and I want to tell you, inventory's getting tight, and we're getting lots of good stuff out there. When we do, we're getting multiple offers. And guys, I want you to be nice and kind, and we always want to have a win-win. And every month, haven't named it in a couple of months, and every month we go over and kind of agent of the month. And if you go by production, it's generally going to be the Rawls, or it's generally going to be Heidi, or it's, John Smith. Some of those we want to do. But I want to tell you who my agent for the month. I'm going to try to get to the point to where somebody that distinguishes themselves. As the numbers come in, we'll get on and talk about the production of the month. But right now, the agent of the month for February, okay, is going to be Melanie Williams out in West Texas. And I got to tell you, Melanie called me last week. She thought she had a problem. She called and you're not going to be very happy with me. And I said, why wouldn't I be happy with you? And she had something. She had a customer that after the deal was done, she had a seller not wanting to take care of the buyer the way they're supposed to, and this, that, and the other. And we talked. There was no coaching. I didn't coach her. We talked about how to approach her customer and how to do this and how to do that. And she did. And the deal finished off the way it should. Now, she could have walked away and said, that's between you guys. But her and I worked out the language. And I want to tell you guys, that's who we are. We are integrity. And I have to tell you, Melanie Williams talk about integrity. She has 6, 7 kids, has a house full. We love her. She's amazing out in West Texas. When she sells something that's usually big, she cares a lot about her customers. But she had a seller that was going back on their word, and she basically had to, after the thing had closed, they weren't taking care of some of the business they'd agreed to do. And so she called me, and she was all worried that I was going to be upset. Wasn't upset at all. I think it's amazing that you guys care so much about your customers. And Melanie Williams is going to be February's agent of the month. And that agent of the month is someone that we're going to start naming that is going to be someone that distinguishes themselves other than production. And I want to tell you, Melanie, she's earned it more than once, but I'm giving it to her for the month of February. She is absolutely awesome. Everybody, if you get a chance, thank Melanie for everything she does for her family and everybody out there. We have some amazing people. Now, just so you know, we're interviewing a bunch of agents. I had 6 interviews with agents last week. Some were new, some from other spots. And what we're finding is agents are getting smarter. They're looking at these franchises and going, wait a minute, you take money from this, you take money from that. I've got 2 agents that we're about to get from a franchise to where leadership's wife has taken buyer's leads that called into the office and said, I want to talk to this agent. And they ended up with a family member of leadership. And the next thing you know, they're getting the buyer's side. So you've got that type of thing. We're also seeing that they're like, I can't get a hold of my broker. I don't know who my broker is. I've never met my broker. They're telling me I have to use this lender, this title company, all of that. So the guys, I want to tell you something. You're going to get lots of people moving around. You're going to get lots of folks out there that now understand that the business about taking care of your customer. If you take care of your customer, the money is there to be made. If you make it about the money, you've got a short-term strategy and a short-term success. We're about long-term success. We're about an infinite thinking when it comes to taking care of our customers down the line. So always do that. As you're talking to people out there and you may want to invite them, remember that character matters. We want infinite thinking. We want great family members. You have the opportunity to be at a place where your broker or your broker's wife doesn't compete with you. You can get your broker. I had an agent come in this morning at 10:30 and say, hey, would you look at this contract? And I said, man, I'd have your seller sign that thing as fast as I could, the way they wrote that up. So you got an opportunity to get with your broker, your broker's wife, or somebody that you're comfortable with that actually has you and your customer's best interest at heart and doesn't just be, hey, Audra, how are you? And so we want to make sure that we're out there and we get these things done. I have never in my life, I knew the horror stories. but I'm hearing more and more it's horrible. They act, new agents that say, they say they go into these places and they act like that all they hear about is how honored they should be to be in their presence. And they come here and I'm like, thank you. Please come in, sit down. I'm so proud that you're considering us. And they're like, man, it's a totally different atmosphere. Guys, you have to work for your agents. And that's what I'm here for. I don't compete with you. Denise doesn't compete with you. It's about giving you the tools you need to be more successful in the marketplace. And if those type of things, okay, don't come easy, they don't come cheap, and we're always digging for them. Some of them are real cheap, but we want to dig for those things that give you the opportunity to be a better agent and be on top of your game and take care of. We let you deal with the lenders that you want to deal with that do a good job. We let you choose the title companies. We don't own a piece of one of them. We don't own a piece of a lender. We don't take money from home warranty companies. You're going to hear me say this all the time. We want you to negotiate in ways where it doesn't cost your money, cost your customer money. Be careful whose money you're negotiating with. In today's market, if you get a contract accepted and you accept a contract from another agent, a contract from another agent, and they start being ugly after you accept the contract, there's a contract waiting behind. They're hurting their people. We had 2 cases last week where agents who got the winning contract, bid, whatever you want to call it, okay, immediately after they got accepted, thought they'd start being a horse's ass. Well, our agents were very smart and said, here's what's going to happen. Audrey, you're exactly right. Here's what's going to happen. And if you don't like it, okay, go away. We'll take a backup offer. The only person you're hurting is your customer. They need to understand the kind of market that we're in. The kind of market we're in today is a win-win for everybody. I expect sellers to have the safety of their house and have the structure up to date and the air conditioning. I expect the houses to be sellable. I don't want anything to be hidden. I don't want, we just had water breakage. We just had all kinds of weather. These things need to be addressed. They need to be updated on the seller's disclosure. You're absolutely right. We got piping in there, watch whose money you're spending. You're going to hear me say that all the time. Have we all negotiated bad in the past? I'm guilty. You are too. But please be mindful that we're looking for a win-win, that we're wanting both the buyer and the seller. We won't have them both most of the time, but if we do, that's fine. But both the buyer and the seller to come away with a good taste in their mouth so that if we run into them at the grocery store, we can say hi. But we still have agents that after they get the contract accepted, think anything goes and they can just rough up the other agent. It doesn't work that way. In today's market, the seller can just say, I'm not negotiating with them on that because of the way their agent is. We've had instances where people have said because of how bad the agent is, I will do nothing for their buyer. So whose money did they spend? Their buyer ended up having to look for another house, whereas if their agent would have been halfway reasonable and presented things back to the buyer from the seller, it would have probably gone. But instead, they got stupid, okay? We want to be intelligent about how we're doing business out there in today's market, okay? Once again, want to remind you, Melanie Williams was the agent of the month. That doesn't have anything, the month for February, doesn't have anything to do at all with production. It has everything to do with her heart. And I want to thank her from the bottom of my heart. You guys get out there, look for another video later in the week. We've got a lot of good things coming to you. Proud for Brittany and Stephen and the entire group that they have. They are just fantastic people, and we wish them the very best now that she's not going to be on staff. And trust me, the person's going to regret that's me. I'm the one that's going to be, floundering, but I'll be all right. I've been there before. We never hold anybody back. We love on people. We want them to be as successful as they can be with the God-given talent they have. And boy, it's rare in this business where work and talent align, and that's one team that has it. We're fortunate to have several at Miller Homes Group. You guys have a blessed day.